you have any feedback, ideas, things like that. After that 15 minutes, then the homeowner open forum will close, and then the meeting will be in an observatory capacity. So turn it over to those of you joining us this evening. So now is your time. If you have any questions, comments, feedback. Anyone? Okay.
I do have a question. In regards to the pool, is there any potential way forward to go back to an ID card type of metric to better track who's coming in and out? Or have you thought about that? Could we use the same card as the previous and just be like?
No, because the new people would come.
Could we get it like weird to a? I don't know.
Because the company that was making it, I think they went out, didn't they? They stopped making them anymore, and it was costing us money.
I mean, even as we sit here today, we have people who ordered boxes and have not been able to use the way it's the same.
Oh, okay.
I think we're the only pool around here using the cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, we were, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, no,
Yeah.
thank you. I didn't know if anyone.
It made sense to me. but-
Hey.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Another option that I think we've already
Wesley made it today.
Highway attendant.
Right, we
Which
did.
is about off
I just came from the water park, so it still smells like chlorine.
of. No worries, that was
How are you?
Did you have fun?
my only thing.
Was fun.
How
It
we
was hot.
Wait, which water park?
I mean,
Cameron?
Oh, okay.
Was our first time.
Well, we have the fob, and we need to be strict on no fob, no entry. And that will,
No, everybody's done.
Oh, you did?
Yep, thanks.
Thank you.
The pool committee voted on that.
If I may, I'm sorry, I'm late. I'm Shafanta McGee, I live at CC 400. I sent you guys the email.
Right. Well, no, we sent it to them.
Okay, so my children came on Sunday. We have our fob does not work. So they've been coming to the pool ever since it's been open, and I always say, take the fob. I work in compliance. The pool rules are no fob, no entrance. They have it. So when my oldest daughter, when she came up, she had a fob, and she said to Paul, can you let me in because my fob doesn't work? And he said, you can't come in. She said, but I have my fob, it doesn't work. And so he and I, we had a conversation. There was Joseph was here.
I'm here.
Hey, Joseph.
How are you?
And it was really nice. And he said to Paul, well, can she come in under me as a guest? And I said, well, that's not necessary because I actually live here. I have a fob. I have emailed the company for 2 years about my fob not working, and they keep saying it works. And
I think they said it's activated.
it's activated.
they say it's activated, and every time we come to hold it up, it doesn't open. But and Paul was so nice. I said, now these sign-in sheets, what happens with the sign-in sheets? He said, well, that the board does something with it. I don't know. So I said, oh, okay, because you can see in the sign-in sheets that they've been coming, they've been signing in, and everything like that. So I think on Sunday the discrepancy was we have a fob, it doesn't work. So that's out of our control. And that's what I was trying to say to Paul. I said, we have a fob.
But for all Paul knows, you might be deactivated for some financial
There's many
reason or something he
reasons.
doesn't know.
Well, and he didn't, and I'm not, and I said to him, I pay my HOA dues, okay? I pay my HOA dues, and so I guess my thing, in alignment with what this gentleman was saying, I was catching the end of it, I guess, is it possible to have a list of guests that they cannot come in, because had he had a list to check it, then he could see, okay, we're not on that list, because I get it, and I said, I know you're trying to do your job and everything like that, but we don't have any violations. We just have a fob that does not work, that's out of our
And
control.
see, he's not privy to that information. All he knows is he's got somebody who doesn't have a fob that's working. That's all he knows. And
Correct, I understand that.
there are people who, and it's not just delinquency, but there are people whose pool privileges have been suspended for a certain period of time. And no, they're not allowed in. And if they try to come in, they're suspended for even longer.
Can't we just get her a new fob?
Well,
Yes, she
well,
can get a new
I
fob.
told
Well,
her that.
she's been trying to for 2 years, she said, and she hasn't
Well,
gotten it.
trying to get it activated, and let me thank you for that. And I told Paul, he said, well, just pay for another one. I said, I'm not. cause I paid my HOA dues, and I have been communicating with the company. They keep saying it's activated and it works.
Activated,
and
but
it
it's
doesn't.
probably damaged, so you're gonna need to
So
order.
that's
new
what
stuff.
happens, they get.
So they should just send me a new one, right?
No,
Because you need
we
the-
don't know how it got damaged.
It's been damaged since I got it.
So it never worked?
No, it never worked. I'm sorry, I don't mean to take that tone.
Well, no,
No,
I mean,
I-
if it never worked,
it never
that's a whole
worked, and I
different
have the-
situation.
And I have the emails, like, I've been
Okay,
emailing
can you
him.
email those to, or can you pull them up? Is there a way that you would be able to get those? Because if it's never worked, then that is defective and it needs to be replaced. Oh. Well, yeah.
You never ordered a new one, correct? It was
Or
left
did
with the
you?
house?
No, I ordered a new one,
Okay.
and I got it because I had to get the cards. So when I got my cards, I got my fob, and I actually got my cards first. And I said, what about my fob? And he said, your fob is on the way.
Yeah.
So it was programmed, and in the email transcript, I'm happy to send the emails to you. You'll see where they say, well, it's activated. And I said, okay, and we come, and we hold it up to the thing. It was so cute because one of the pool attendants is a former student, and she was like, Miss McGee, and I was like, I know. And she was like, well, I said, I'm gonna hold it up to the thing so you can see. And she said, it's not opening, that's weird. So again, I emailed them. So it's just this back and forth. But again, my children have been coming to the pool ever since it opened. My oldest daughter, that's kind of part of her therapy, that's what she does. So I'm like, Paul, you've been coming. So I don't know if it's a way, because like you said, he wouldn't necessarily be privy to that information because he doesn't live here. But could we help him and provide a
They wouldn't be
list?
privy to that information.
But I'm saying that.
They wouldn't be privy to that information.
But the pool attendants that are out, so that it can be safe, right? Could we not possibly provide them with a list either by house number or name, so at least he could say, okay, what's your name? And you can double check the list and you can say, okay, so you're on this list says that you can't come in. And there's nothing I can do about that. Because what I said to him, I said, so what am I supposed to do? He said, call the board. I said, Paul, the pool's gonna close in 2 hours.
Yeah, see, all we would do is go to Custer and say, would you please check on this fob for us and tell us what the deal is? Because frankly, I had no idea. You and I have emailed in the past. But I had no idea you had fob problems, so we could have solved that for you 2 years ago.
Well, I didn't think I had to tell you, because I was telling you
Yeah,
yesterday,
well,
they
yeah.
say,
But see, we pay Custer to manage, so
Absolutely.
we don't see every bit of correspondence with them because they take care of it, and we don't see that. There's no reason for us to get involved.
I understand.
But, you know, had I known that, or any board member, had any of us known that, we would have had that straightened out for you 2 years ago.
Could you forward those emails to support@custer.com and just put in there attention Morgan? So that way, that ticket will come directly to me, and then I can do the investigation on that and make sure that it gets resolved.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And see, that's all we request too. When we're made aware, we go, Morgan, would you check this out for us? Tell us what's
And
going
in
on.
the meantime,
Please
we
do
will
this."
allow you to come in, we'll tell the attendants.
And not as a guest, please. Sorry. I got teenagers, they're like, Mom, I was like, we're not guests.
Right. And how's your daughter doing?
Allison, just a follow-up question on this one. When we have similar situations next time, and what's the best course of action when the guests are stuck outside? How you really want us to deal with it the best way? If one of us are
We want
here,
the attendant to deal with that.
That's what the attendant is paid to do.
so you would expect them to let the guests in at some point after they call you, or how would you really like? Because I was also stuck in that situation. I didn't know what to do. They're standing outside, 5 family
So it's
members.
not- I mean, there's different,
Like, I didn't know what to do at that time, so the best guess, I was like, let me get them in as
and that
guests.
would have been fine, but there was another issue with that. That was fine, what you did.
That's good. I just, like, that was my like, out of the hat, like, I'm trying to help these guys, but I don't know what else to do.
But there's other issues, and that's where it comes.
Exactly, but I don't
Not in
know.
her
We're not
ways,
gonna
but we
discuss
can't
that
discuss that because,
here.
No, I mean, for other situations like that, when somebody's stuck at the gate, what should I've done? What should be done?
We
Like, should,
discussed all of that already with you, Joseph.
I mean, for
That
everybody's,
was discussed at nauseam.
No, if somebody's stuck at the gate,
The
what,
protocol is to tell them to go home and contact Qster
okay,
and
go home and
Well,
Well,
contact
there's a
Houston.
sign on the gate that
Okay.
says if you can't get in.
there's
I mean, everyone knows how to get in touch with us.
But there's a safety issue as well with that, because if I sell my house and I keep one and move to a different community that doesn't have it, I come over and I'm like, everyone's gonna recognize, I mean, this could be you too, right? You keep your token and say, hey, I moved out and, I wanna come back in and use it because I don't have a pool. The attendant's gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, now we have a unsolicited person in. So if they're stopped at the gate, it could be a safety, security, like there's a security breach at that point. So like, yes, they should call Qster. We can't just be like every circumstance. It needs to be elevated to some point. We can't just allow everyone. There's a pedophile that lives in this
Right.
neighborhood.
I agree. So I think, let's say there was no one to take them in as guests, then the only other option was you just go back and contact the
Well,
board.
someone
Well, they
takes them in
shouldn't
as a
be bringing
guest.
them
It's
in
on
as
that
a
person
guest
that
because
does it.
you
Gotcha.
don't know why their fob isn't working. That was the point we kept trying to make. You don't know what the situation is, and we're not going to share that situation with you.
So I
Which-
guess
which-
to tag along to what you're saying, because it does put the pool attendant in a very bad situation, right?
It
So
does.
I'm wondering, what could we do in terms of a list or a house number,
They actually
or?
do have, I mean, we have furnished them with lists in the past. This year, we didn't really need to because we haven't heard anything.
Or something or then I was thinking something electronic, because if there was like a Google form, right?
Oh,
Because
we've been
that can
talking
be,
about that too. We just need someone to donate a computer for us.
or an iPad or something,
Yeah,
because then that way it could be, it's real time, right?
right.
But, Morgan, I'll direct this to you. Is there a way with the key fob, with people moving in and out, and since it's digital, it's electronic, could it possibly be a setup on a time span so that it would cut off? Because if I sell my house and I happen to leave it in the drawer and the real estate agent doesn't get it and they pick it up, but if, it's communicated and you guys know, and I think communication is great with Qster and in our HOA, so then you could just say, you could just go on the computer, okay, they're no longer there. You go into the computer and deactivate the fob. But again, you're having that list, that live list, where you can see, oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to contact them because this list is deactivated.
I can't speak on the board's behalf, but is that part of the reason
You know that
we're
situation
doing?
we were talking about? We actually had that exact situation happen
And what do you normally do when
when a house is
when
sold.
she bought this house?
So the instructions through the real estate agent and through the closing attorneys should be, and I say should be because I'm not either of those, so I can't guarantee this is happening at the closing table, should be that the fobs are transferred from the previous owner to the now current owner, either at closing or by them saying we left them in the kitchen drawer or on the counter or whatever that may be. And then our indication that a fob needs to be deactivated is if that, say you just purchased the home and you reach out and say, hey, I never got my fobs at closing. Well, now we're deactivating it from that previous owner and then adding new fobs for your new account. But because the directive is supposed to be that you turn your fob over at closing until a new owner comes to us and says, hey, I never got a fob. Because we manage over 200 communities times however many homes are in each community. That's a lot of residents to go through and contact each one and say, did you get your fob at closing? So unfortunately our team just isn't equipped to reach out to each owner individually. So typically that request for a new fob or a new owner reaching out and saying, hey, how do I get a pool fob? Is typically our indication that now we need to. Our team also goes through the resale list to make sure that if a home has closed that we're updating to the current owner to make sure that that list stays up to date. So that's kind of how our process works.
Okay.
But you don't get that information at the day of settlement.
No, after
there's a
closing,
delay.
it takes 3 to 4 weeks for closing attorneys to send us the information.
And a lot of times, new residents will move in. I send a welcome letter to the new residents. I get this list, and we didn't always used to get that list, so we didn't know who was moving out, who was moving So now when you get that list, I go through it and I send a welcome letter to a new person, and it has all the,
Which is
information, things they will need.
You tie the car to the property.
All the social
That's-
events that are going on that month, all the stuff that's in there. But they will usually contact me then. I get a private message saying, well, we wanna go to the pool, but we don't have the device yet. And I'll say, okay, put the order in as soon as I can confirm that you've ordered it. I'm gonna put your name on a list so that you can get in there. And that'll be good for, what, it takes about 2 weeks, I think, you said for the, right now, it's like a 2-week lead time for their files.
We say up to 2 weeks just because we're in the height of pool
Yeah.
season.
Yes,
It would be
yeah,
a little
so
crazy.
standards in 5 days. So that was-
But if you can go take care of that today, and if you don't hear back by a week, reach out to one of us and we can get it.
Oh, no, I sent my email Sunday night, I got a reply back, I think I got a reply back yesterday or first thing this morning. So, I mean, the replies come, they come quick,
Yeah,
they come quick.
so, since I was defective, filed about it, that's my thing. We'll have to vote on that in executive session, but.
Like I said, if you just forward this to support attention Morgan, I'll grab that ticket and we'll get y'all taken care of.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there a opportunity for like an app system so that homeowners don't have to pay for the fob and it could just be like a free app or something like that, and then you can easily deactivate it online or anything like that? Because almost everyone has a smartphone now, and I believe that often you can use Bluetooth technology, whether it be like at a hotel, you have like the system there where you can use your phone to get into your room or whatever. Is there a possibility for that at all?
What about the older people that don't have smartphones?
I mean, I'm just saying that most people.
Bob's not the default in pretty much every community.
Yeah, true. Well, I know I've seen that, but yeah.
App features are something that the board could look into. It would not be something that would be free
Yeah.
because the community still has to pay to house all of that information and run
Of course,
that
of
system.
course.
So unfortunately, something like that would never be free of charge.
Yeah, of course.
That's near good.
Yeah, residents would then have to buy the app, I suppose, or.
The app is typically free, but the access to, I mean, the
Yeah.
community would still be billed for the access and the housing of that system and for somebody to run that system.
Yeah.
So like RFP still has to get paid to run the
Oh,
system.
and we would have to change the gate, change the
Oh, yeah.
locks.
Yeah. And I do still have, don't laugh, the, pool ID cards with all of our, everybody has a card with their picture on it. Do I know, I
You
just
know,
put them as a keepsake?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
honey, I have mine.
I have mine too, so.
Put them in your scrapbook.
They're in the bag with the file.
Yeah.
I just
Where's
take
the
them over
shop?
there.
Where's the shop? No, that's good.
You don't have the ones with the Polaroid on them, though.
Everybody has.
All right, so that concludes our 15 minutes
Well,
of
no,
homeowner.
she's got
Oh,
something she needs.
sorry.
I have concerns that were expressed to me by a resident.
Okay.
They would like, so I'm just gonna list the things that they were concerned about. They would like term limits to be addressed for the board. They would, be interested in having Facebook Live for meetings. They would like a larger sign for pool hours on the gate, so that it can be read from the parking lot. They would like the pool rules sign moved to a more prominent place. They would like to see more diversity on the board.
What do you mean by that? I don't understand that.
They thought our board was too white.
Really? I've been on this board for 8 years, I've never heard, I've been in a million meetings, I've never heard race brought up before, even one time, that's interesting.
They would like to make sure that the annual meeting notices are mailed on time this year. They're concerned regarding the smoke at the pool, people smoking outside the pool gate. And they were interested in knowing what the resolution would be to solve the thefts of bicycles from the bike rack. Can we move the bike rack? Can we chain the bikes to the fence? Can we chain bikes to the bench? Is that me?
No, it's.
And we also added cameras too, so.
But
Yeah.
were the bikes themselves chained up?
No, no, they were just sitting in the rack, and, David and I came down and messed around with cameras and, tried to move the racks, but the racks are rusty, so.
We gotta get new ones.
We have to get new racks. People should be using locks on them, that would be helpful.
And we did get 2 new cameras as well.
And if we looked at places to move it, and we would have to rip out landscaping and stuff. And I personally, I don't wanna rip out landscaping, when we can focus a camera right on the bike rack, but we can't stop people from stealing.
Yeah, and we
them.
did recover the one that was stolen.
We saw them on camera stealing them, you know, but that was after the fact. And they were both recovered.
When did they steal in bikes?
Bikes and a
A bike and a scooter, and we captured it on camera, but we're not monitoring the cameras in spite of what some people like to say. We don't monitor them. So we had to go back, and that's a very, it's time consuming, it's not fun. I mean, it's really a pain in the neck to be able to do that, but we do it. And it took us, well, you were the one that caught it.
Because we all have to use separate slides.
Yeah.
You can't watch 4 of them at the same time, so we usually delegate them
And
separately.
they freeze.
It's not easy.
It's frustrating, it's what it is. But
We do
both of them were recovered because eventually, it may have taken a few hours, but eventually we were able to see who did it and give out enough information to the people whose property was stolen that they were able to recover them. So, I think that's a pretty good job. Yeah, from the bike rack that's sitting right over here. Pretty bold, huh? With cameras everywhere. But they got them back, so that's a good thing. The same day. The same day.